And now I would like to welcome our interviewer for this session, Ashmi. So Ashmi is originally from India, but she's currently based in Germany. She's a doctoral researcher at the Technical University of Munich, Germany. Her research focuses on recommender systems and human-computer interaction. As a Google Women Techmakers Ambassador and a diversity enthusiast, she is passionate about bridging the gender gap in STEM through a myriad of voluntary activities with different women in STEM networks. When not sitting in front of a computer, she is either traveling or training to be a triathlete. So I would like to extend a warm welcome to Ashmi, and I will now pass on the floor to you, Ashmi.
Thank you so much, Siddhi, for the very warm welcome. And also the lovely introduction, the way you introduced me. So now I would like to introduce our guest, Ruba, to you. So if you just move to the next slide. Yeah, Ruba is a software engineer who has worked with various kinds of technologies, teams, and companies, and she also mentors other women and helps them join the tech domain. So she's really passionate about this, and she believes that diversity and inclusion are very important. And currently, she is interested in development in cloud and constantly striving to improve her relevant skills. So very, very warm welcome to you, Ruba. We are extremely happy to have you here.
Thanks a lot for the warm welcoming, and thank you for the great introduction.
You're welcome. So, Ruba, this is how we got introduced to you, right? Like this official formal introduction. But if we were to get a little bit deeper into that, say, for example, the overview your friends or your family has about you, or how they what kind of picture of Ruba they have, how would you describe that?
Thanks for the question. Very nice one. So I would say I am an outgoing person. I have a big, also social person. I have a lot of a big group of friends and a big family actually. And I like to be always with someone around me and doing some activities. I love cooking so much, and I love sport, like being in concerts, also watching some games. It's my hobbies. Apart from that, I'm a hardworking person. So whenever you don't find me like having fun, I am working hard, always to improve my skills at work or also in other activities like.
Mm-hmm. That's a really interesting way of describing yourself, I think, or the perspectives that other people may have. So, I mean, do you have any other, like, so how do you think, or how were you introduced to tech? What was
Actually,
your journey like?
Yeah, I've been introduced to tech when I was at high school, where I got my first computer. And then all the family, I was so interested playing with it. And like I was good at working with softwares, installing softwares, formatting the hard drive, fixing issues. And everyone was coming to me to fix those technical issues they had. So back then also, I was so into math in general and programming. And so whenever I finished my high school, it's so like the best profession you will go to is a dentist or a doctor. And for me, I had a plan to be a dentist. But at that exactly when I got my my certificate, it was the first year the IT department was open. The University of IT department was established in Damascus in Syria. And at that point, I immediately changed my idea and I wanted to study IT. So I enrolled myself in information technology department. I studied IT and specialized in artificial intelligence. You're muted, Ashmi.
Sorry, I just said that you just mentioned that you grew up in Damascus. So how was it like? Like we honestly, I mean, the media probably suppresses a lot of it, but it doesn't sound, or we don't hear too many good stories about, say, Syria these days. Unfortunate, but that's how it is. So how was it growing up in such a, tumultuous country? Or, yeah.
Actually, Damascus is a very old, one of the oldest city in the world. I mean, it's a very living there is something you'll never forget. Of course, it's amazing. Education there was very good. We had the best professors. I mean, being there with family is amazing. Yeah. I mean, there is a very old city. So many. I mean, if I start describing, yeah, it's my second homeland, I would say, because I'm originally Palestinian, and I had a great childhood in Syria. Yeah, and I moved out from Syria as I graduated for work, where I actually worked in a banking domain in Tunisia. So I moved to Tunisia. And in Tunisia, I lived there 3 years working for Vermec. It's a big banking company, building platform for banking brokers, banking applications, mainly Banque de France, Banque de Luxembourg, and other banks. And also they are doing Versicherung. After that, they are doing insurance stuff and other also business. It was also very lovely 3 years I spent there working with in development. That was my really first experience with Java. I was Java software developer. And at the end of my career, I was so into business as well. I mean, this is always the case that I love the business I do. I mean, I am a software engineer, but I love always the side of the business that I'm doing. This is why I go a bit to leading management, and I always make sure to stay in development because my passion is there. And after that, actually, yeah, I get an opportunity to move to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Actually, it was between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I was working in gas and oil domain. Joined 2 ERP projects for asset and management for these ERP projects. It was also another kind of experience, like technical consultancy with some also development as well. And at the end of the second ERP project, I was also doing project management assessment. And it was really interesting also. Another kind of experience I was gaining in this project. And then the opportunity came to move to Germany with another job opportunity. So I moved here. So at the beginning, my orientation a bit changed. I decided to do my master and to have my second kid. So yeah, personally, I have 2 kids. I didn't mention, so 2 girls. When Maya is 15 years old and Arya is 9 years old. So I got Maya in Tunisia and Arya here in Berlin, actually. Yeah. So having my second girl, I was studying. I didn't want to get away from the tech scene, and from all the technology. I thought I didn't want to have a pause. This is why I decided to continue studying and do some other hobbies. And then I decided also to go back to part-time job. And at that point, I was so interested in functional programming to learn something really new to me. I mean, I knew functional programming in the study domain, but it's not the same when you work with the functional programming. And I was so interested in really practicing that at work. And it was really interesting. Then I joined so many companies back doing full-time job until this moment where I'm a full stack developer at Volkswagen Group.
That's amazing. That's really very diverse and also inspirational. So, I mean, what was I guess you have had a lot of good and not so good moments during this entire journey, right? So what was your aha moment? Like, oh my God, I am so glad I'm in tech that I'm getting to experience this thing. Was there something like that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I feel that I'm lucky to get into this domain. Why? Because it's a domain with high demand. Wherever you go, you need, I mean, you have some job. I mean, it's really, I never seek job were seeking me always, you know. This is really, I think, yeah, this is a luxury you have being in the tech scene, like in general. And I was lucky always to be there. Same like when I did functional programming, I realized how important, I mean, how it is really a domain not so many people are working with. It is a bit complicated, very challenging, and very interesting. And same, I was so happy to get there and to work in projects and have hands-on real-time projects. But I was a bit sad because like not all companies working with that. So at some point when I switched, I mean, I had to change job. I wanted to change the domain. So I went to actually e-commerce domain. And in e-commerce domain, at the beginning, I worked a bit with the functional programming. Then the whole team was not into that. And this is why I went back to the traditional, let's say, to programming, like with Java and Kotlin. Yeah.
That's super nice. Yeah, I mean, I really like the way you said that, oh, I was not seeking jobs, but jobs were seeking me, which kind of gives out the fact that how how talented you are and how competent you are, because otherwise jobs, I guess I never had a situation where jobs were after me. I always had to seek jobs. So that totally gives out the fact how talented you are. And it's our great pleasure to have you here. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
So, I mean, throughout this journey, you must have had a lot of tech models, right? Role models who inspired you. Do you want to talk about that, or like maybe name one or two role models that you have?
Yeah, I would say my first role model was my professor at the university. He was the professor who actually was working with us on our graduation project. And he is the one who why I wanted to go into artificial intelligence. And I think that was a great inspiration. At that point, I wanted also to follow his lead to be a professor and to continue working on AI. But in practice, when I started working, at that point, so it was 2004, the AI domain was a bit, I mean, not so practical. So I have to really work just on research. And I started working in a company where I found it really interesting to have production, you know, to have a product coming out of your work, you know, and this product is live and working. And that was hard to continue with research, you know, it's not the same case. This is why I continued with software development. I had also, I was so lucky to have the chance to work with AI technologies at that point with my professor as well. I started actually working with him as well. So yeah, I was lucky to have him at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, professors, having professors as mentors or having professors, you know, as your biggest inspirations are the best thing that can ever happen to someone. I mean, I have also been fortunate to have a couple of professors from my undergraduate institute back in India who totally supported me throughout the journey, not only just the undergrad, but also like afterwards and even now. And I'm so glad that they are there. And yeah, as my biggest supporters, mentors, inspiration, everything. So yeah, that's probably one of the best things that can ever happen to you. Yeah, I totally agree. So
yeah.
You said that you were in different parts of the world, you moved to different parts of the world because of work, and then finally landed in Germany. How and why? How did that happen? I mean, why Germany?
Actually, I had two options. My original plan was to go to Australia. I was working for a company doing actually asset management applications, and it has, I mean, it's mainly partnership with IBM, and I had the opportunity to apply to IBM, and I wanted to move there to Australia to work there. And at the same moment, my plans changed because I got a job opportunity in Germany. So I thought, oh, Germany, maybe Europe being in the middle, like I thought Europe as a location was more attractive to me. This is why I changed the whole plan. Just before a month of implementation, I would say. So I was moving from Dubai to Australia, then I moved to Germany. So it was not the original plan, but I'm really glad that I did it, and it was a really interesting journey in general. Like I learned a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, Europe with this whole Schengen visa thing, that's really convenient, I would say. I don't know what, or like probably not now, but at some point you probably also needed the visa. And now as an Indian citizen, we also need visa to go everywhere. So, but then Europe was a total, I would say, an amazing opportunity, because you can get the Schengen visa and you can travel to so many different countries without even requiring an official visa. And that's the best thing that can happen to people like us who need a visa to go everywhere. So,
yeah, and for me, as also as a Palestinian, it was Palestinian growing up in Syria as a refugee. It was hard to travel, really. And when I was working in Dubai, it was amazing. I had a great opportunity there, but I never had the chance there to get citizenship, for example, as a Palestinian stateless person. Like for Germany, for many countries, I'm a stateless. So it's really like it was important for me to get some citizenship. Yeah, and
yes.
Germany offered that for me, and it was really convenient. Yeah.
Yeah, Germany is really generous when it comes to offering, say, longer term resident status or citizenship. And that's also one of the appealing points that, like really appealing things that Germany has to offer. I guess though, I personally find one of the challenges in Germany is definitely the language.
Of course.
Because other than that, I mean, I went through this whole process of, gaining my PR and all these things in Germany, and it was pretty much a cakewalk. But on the other side, I see my friends and colleagues struggling for blue card or green card in US, or all these citizenship and stuff. Whereas here, okay, let's not go into the bureaucratic details of how like digitally challenged bureaucracy is here, but I mean, what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to address here is the fact that it is indeed very smooth and very generous in terms of embracing immigrants. But then the language. So how did you handle that?
So moving to Germany with with Maya, she was 4 years old. I thought, oh, at the beginning, I need to study the language at some level to communicate, like with teachers, with with all the bureaucracy stuff. And I did intensive courses at the beginning until I finished like C1 level even. I really studied the language really hard. So I put 8 months intensive courses. But as I finished it, I felt really happy. The language itself. I mean, at the beginning it felt hard, but at some point it was easier than so many languages, and even when sometimes I feel easier than English. Yeah. At some point. When I started working, when I started working, it was most of the big companies, the formal language is English. And I was working using English language communicating at work for some years. And because of that, my German got worse a bit. And when I joined Volkswagen still that big company, that the language is important. And there is I would say just few departments. One of them, our department, we were a small lab. Actually, we started in Berlin doing some experiments to have the software for the cars. And we were speaking English, but at some point our products were successful and were open to the company and were in production, in news, and we were talking to stakeholders more, and everyone, like at that point, I found the need to use the language, what I learned in the language. It's not a must, but I found it more convenient, I would say. This is why I went back working on improving my language, and it's working well, yeah.
So for the people who do not, who are in the audience and they do not speak German, C1 is a very, very high level of German, which means C1. So it's like if C2 is the maximum level of German, so equivalent to a native speaker you can achieve, then C1, you can understand how good that is. So Ruba's German is like incredible. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been in Germany for already 6 years, but the language has been quite a bit of struggle for me. I do understand now most of it, but I'm still like far from being fluent. And yeah, and also like the dialects and the accents, they do play a huge role in making the language kind of accessible, I would say. Yeah.
Totally agree.
That's really nice. And the Volkswagen part also, I can totally relate because I worked for a couple of years at Deutsche Telekom, so the German telecom, and it was quite relatable because even though my team and everyone kind of spoke English, but all the data and everything was in German, even the documentation was in German. Most of the team meetings and socializing things were in German. Even towards the end, my team, I was the only non-German person in the team of like around 200 people. And so basically, yeah, and I kind of also had to learn the language. And so for the people, if you are listening and if you're interested in coming to Germany, don't get scared that you have to learn the language, but just embrace it as a part of your development plan. And yeah, I mean, otherwise Germany is quite a good country to come to for career development, I guess, which we will hear more from Ruba now. So you also said that you are mother to two daughters, two lovely daughters. So how do you balance work and life, or work-life balance, basically? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's a skill you can learn. It didn't work so well for me at the beginning, to be honest. So I was a bit under, like I put some stress on myself. And yeah, as a hardworking person, I'm sometimes, if I have a task that I didn't finish, and I can't sleep before finishing that task, which is bad. Let me tell you, it's something you can learn. So with time, and I would say the pandemic embraced that so much. So with the pandemic, I learned really to split time. My lifetime, my work time are different. I'm not merging them. I know when I'm working now, I'm getting out of work, turning off those thoughts, thinking of that task that I was working on. Why I couldn't before do that. Yeah, for so many years I was like mixing them. Yeah, I was working in my free time. It was good for my career, of course, but I would say it's not necessary to do it this way. I mean, you can always achieve life-work balance and really improve in your career and do whatever you want to do. That's achievable, but it's a skill you need to learn, and it needs a lot of, like, I didn't get this experience in a day, or I mean, it took me really some time, yeah, to be able to do that. And I'm happy that I can achieve it now. It's really much better. Yeah. I mean, I have even sometimes, yeah, when I want to do some certification, I always still love to improve. For example, in the cloud, as you mentioned in the introduction, like I love to improve my skills, and I love to have those certifications in the cloud. I want to be more expert in the domain, so I continue doing certificates in my free times. But the thing is, I don't make that affect my hobbies, my kids, my lifetime. It's everything is really like organized with a specific time, yeah, dedicated for it. And I feel that's working much better. Yeah,
Mhm.
more effective.
That's a very, very powerful message to our audience, I guess, because I mean, that's something that most of us struggle with. This context switching. You're doing something and then you just switch to another thing, and then there's no track of time, and that's like the worst that can happen, And so that's a very good. And since we are now at this like giving advice stage, so do you have any advice for the younger generation who are, say, starting their careers in tech, or also specifically women, how we can get more women into tech?
Yeah, actually, regarding the gender, like in general in the tech domain, I really noticed during my master, when I was doing my master degrees, I was always the only woman in the class. And after that, I started my working here, and it's always the same. I'm the only developer in the team. And at that point, I realized that really it's not, the balance is missing. Yeah. It's so like to have one woman just in a big team of, I mean, sometimes big teams like 20, I'm the only one always. In the master class, I mean, we're about 15, I am the only one. So at that point, I thought, okay, I can do something. What can we do about it? I would say it should be like we should really encourage girls at early stage to get into the domain. I think it's really important to have more women in the domain because they bring another perspective to all the solutions and the softwares out there. The softwares out there are for everyone. This is why the women perspective is really necessary there, and not just women, of course. I mean, I'm also supporting all the diversity idea, the inclusion idea there. So this is why I joined Women Tech Makers as well, and I started doing workshops. It started with Django girls. I did a workshop. I was teaching girls programming. It was very interesting, and at that point, I was so happy with the output and with the feedback from the girls. And I thought, okay, I wanna join an organization, help others. I joined also Ready School, teaching also kids. So I had two very nice experience teaching kids programming. Then I started organizing events for women, and for also like to encourage the diversity idea and to help others. And to be honest, what's really helping here to have more women and more minority groups in the tech domain is to have a mentor first. Mentor will help you, will guide you. I mean, this is something I was missing for a long time. Yeah. And I think having a mentor is really important because you will miss some guide. How should I proceed? Because the tech domain itself is really huge, so many types, so many tasks. You can go to so many domains. So how to choose, how to prioritize, how is something you can learn. Yeah, you can do better always. And starting small is good. To start simple, then you can grow, and really you can. It's accumulating the experience actually in this domain in general.
Yeah, I mean, you have contributed a lot to Women Tech Makers as well, to Google Women Tech Makers, and I know that you are contributing also to other nonprofit organizations like Ready School. Yeah, so I mean, do you also, I don't know, I just had this question in mind. Are you also getting your daughters interested in programming, or?
So my younger daughter, actually, she did Python. She was able to program in Python when she was 7, 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Now she is in the 10th grade, but she doesn't want to go to the IT domain.
Okay.
Yeah, but she was interested in programming, and she's very good at school in the programming material. But it's not her choice. Yeah. She chose something different
Right.
than her parents. Yeah, she want to do something different, something related to social. Yeah, I mean, it's a choice. For my younger one, also she is interested, and she is doing now at school some like some courses, and it's really fun to do it with her. Yeah.
That's really good. And no, I mean, I totally respect her choice. And but then just saying, for a friend, there are also domains like computational social sciences, you know?
Actually, this is one discussion we had actually. Yeah, she thought maybe it will be mix of tech domain in yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one point of the points. Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that because that is very close to my research area. So
Neuroscience. Yeah, actually she is
no,
thinking of
computational social science, not really neuroscience, but human-computer interaction. So yeah.
yeah, that's very interesting actually, and it is in the list.
Uh-huh. That's okay. Then you haven't, you know, gotten her like completely out of tech, but she's still there somewhere. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's as a mother in tech, it's quite an impressive, quite a like positive thing to have, right?
Yeah. I mean, she could like this is what we had so many interviews because she's thinking, okay, what am I going to do later? When she's thinking at this point this year, they have to decide to do practicum, to do like training, to choose their career for the future. And this is exactly the point where, I mean, in the past few months, we were into this discussion where she told me, I don't want to do IT. Then we had the discussion and she said, yeah, maybe just I will do this, the part of the IT that will participate in this domain that I love, which is something related to the social stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. So Rupa, we have prepared a bit of something different for you. So a rapid fire round of questions where we are going to ask you, like show you different options and you have to choose one out of those options. Hope you like them. You can explain them, but it's not mandatory for you to explain or justify your decision. Okay, and if you want, I can also do it together with you. So I don't know why, but maybe makes it more fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so Siddhi is already sharing the screen. So yeah, so are you a Mac, Linux, or a Windows person?
So I know it's rapid, but I will not go. I mean, for me it's Linux, but I have at work we are using Mac since a long time. So Linux.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, me too. But I maybe Mac. I'll go for Mac. Okay.
I'm using Mac for 15 years now, I think. Yeah, but before, I mean, I always preferred Linux because I feel Linux bringing for developers more freedom. Yeah, let's say.
Absolutely, I agree. So next one. So are you a Vim, VS Code, or a PyCharm person?
VS Code, easy.
Okay. Next one. Command line or GUI?
Command line. I love working with command line. I work more with command line.
I guess it, given that you love Linux. So,
yeah.
Next one. Android or iPhone?
I'm an iPhone user also for a long time. Yeah. So iPhone, yeah.
Okay. Next one. Data science or web dev?
Both.
No, you have to choose one.
So it's web development, but always, I mean, web development now have big data. So this is why data science is there in web development. Yeah.
Okay, that's a clever way to answer the question, but we meant it as like traditional things, but it's fine. We'll accept this. Okay, next one. You want to be a manager or developer?
So I'm always going to management, but I love to be a developer always.
Okay, next one. Backend or frontend?
Easy, backend.
Okay, next. Coding or partying?
Party, of course.
Okay, so you are the first person in our whole season who chose partying. Like, I don't know whether there was some bias in, like, sampling the people that we had here, because everyone, whoever we showed this, would choose coding.
Oh.
And yeah, you're the
I
first
love I
one.
love to party. I really love to party. I don't miss a party. If I'm not sick, I go to parties.
Uh-huh. That's good. That's good. Like, at least we have some diversity here. Okay. Okay, next one. Work from office or remote work?
So I love that remote work is more introduced, but for me, it's essential to be, face-to-face communication at some limit is essential. So it is remote work, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel that there should be a limit. I mean, for Volkswagen, we have 1 day per week in person, and I like it. I feel
Mm-hmm.
it's very good because the team meet each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next one. Are you a morning person or night?
Most of the time, I mean, working, I'm a morning person. Partying, I'm a night owl. So, so I'm a morning person actually. Yeah. Apart from
So
party.
that's another clever way of, saying that. Yeah, so next one, and probably it's the last one. Yeah. Are you a tea person or a coffee person?
I have been introduced to this question and they told me I need to choose. So for me, I drink 1 coffee a day and 1 tea a day. So I can't say that I am this or that, but I would say that 1 coffee is more essential for me. So coffee person.
Okay. So with this, we have come to the end of the questions, the rapid fire questions and also the interview questions that we had for you. But now it's time for the audience to ask you different questions. And we already have some in the question box. And I would pass the mic to Siddhi, who's going to continue from here.
Thanks, Ashmi, and thanks, Ruba. It was wonderful hearing you both have a conversation. And in every event, I always tell that the interview never seems like a formal interview. It always seems like a conversation between two friends, and it's always so much fun. Like I was grinning so much throughout, like while listening, and it was so fun, like hearing the conversation. And I hope our audience enjoyed it too. So I'm gonna go over and ask you a few questions we have from the audience. So Lena asks you, do you work at office or remote? How is your experience moving to other countries with your children? I have 3 children and now I'm changing career to data science.
So to be honest, it's different in each country. And so for example, for me in Tunisia, it's a bit, so I didn't have, there was a downtime having like, because I had my baby, the company didn't see me like same as man. Yeah. So I didn't get the let's say the bonus that I was promised because I have a baby, and the promotion that I was promised because I have a baby. And even I had to take my baby to work in weekend, for example. So so in some countries they I mean, I'm lucky in Germany. It's not the case. There is this balance, and when you have your baby, you have your time with your baby, with kids. It's all dedicated. I don't have this problem here, but I had it in many other countries, and it was a bit frustrating, yeah, annoying. Of course, I was always challenging all these decisions or all these kind of treatments, trying to stand up for myself, yeah, as a woman. but I would say it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy having kids and being working for even also for some even startups here in Germany. It's so big companies, they really try really hard to appreciate having women, even with, I mean, women with kids, not without kids, and also not just women, to have this diversity. And this is something they realize after time. Yeah, all big companies. Small companies, they are still looking at this as they are, okay, we are paying this employee, but this employee we won't have the 100% time out of it, out of this, because of, for example, like pregnancy or kids. And this is sad, to be honest. Yeah, it's still going on, I think, the improvement, but not everywhere. Yeah, sadly.
Thank you for answering that question, Ruba. And it was really inspiring to hear you say, because I feel as an upcoming woman, like woman in tech, for me, it's really inspiring to, like stand up for myself, because it's often like it's different in like hearing and actually implementing it. So when you see people ahead of you doing it, it really like, it makes it easy for you to follow. So thank you for like standing up for yourself and the women who are coming after you.
Thank you.
All right, so next question we have says that which domain did you like working in the most, and which is a booming domain for big data aspirants?
So to be honest, when studying and when I finished and worked with my professor, it was the most interesting work I did. Yeah. But applying to products and to big companies, so many companies, it was less opportunities. Yeah, this is why web development was I had in web development the biggest opportunity, and also with big data. So when you combine both, it's really, you will get really every company really cares about data and about having applications, web applications. This is why I went into that domain. Yeah, big data and web development. And there I found fun. Yeah, it was really fun to do it. And also continuously actually working on my skills there, because this is a domain that won't stop improving, yeah, changing, new languages coming, new libraries, new technologies every day, moving from so many even methodology in like implementing and designing systems. And it's really important and nice to keep on, yeah, improving yourself. And this is why also it's a domain where you can start at any point you want. So there is no, it's late for me to go into tech, for example. It's something changing every day. For me, I'm studying every day to stay really on track. Yeah. And this is why I think everyone is welcome to join it, and it's possible for anyone to join.
All right, we'll move on to our next question. It says, how do you deal with the burnout?
Yeah, burnout. Actually, so when I was working for some companies, as I mentioned, there was stress. I mean, there's some point where we had, like, for example, a big milestone we have to achieve and release. And at that point, there is nights where, I mean, we are working at night, day and night, and just we want to achieve this release, and we don't want to be late. And of course, that's not easy, and it will make you burn out. I mean, really, at some point, you just want to do something else. And exactly that's what I was doing. So whenever I reach a point that, I am not productive anymore, I can't concentrate well, I get myself to do something different. So I love sport, as I mentioned. When I feel stressed, I go running. Actually, I go running, and then I come back with new energy. Really, I could really continue even with the stressful work, for example. Yeah, because you get your mind a bit out of it, so you will come fresh and you can continue. And I think, yeah, doing something, changing the context is helping always, even for a short time. Yeah.
Thank you. That seems like a very valuable tip, and I have noted it. So next time when I'm feeling unproductive or stressed, I'm going for a run. So I've noted that down. All right. So our next question is how to make sure that as a woman we are being paid at par as our male counterparts.
So to be honest, for so many companies, even through my experience, there was this problem that you're not sure about this. And also for example, I had a colleague, she did a study, I mean, she did not a study, she shared a document where everyone should put the gender and the salary and the level they are at this company. And it was, I mean, at the end of the day, like when they collected this information, there is a big difference. Yeah, women were paid less, definitely. And out of that, actually, there was a big, it is a big company here in Germany. They did a big change, actually. They tried to fill this gap. So this is a big company. For other companies, it's worse. Yeah, it's not, you can't tell. Yeah, this transparency was okay for the company, and it, even though there was issues, yeah, found, and they tried to cover that. But I would say it's not so that salaries are not fair always, and this is why whenever you apply to job, you need to know what is the range and to ask other people at your level in this company with all genders, yeah, what is the payment range at least. So many companies now are exposing that. I'm so happy with VW, because for VW, depending on your experience, your study, you have a score. That score will put you in a level, and that level has a fixed payment everyone knows. It's online even, so it's full transparency. It makes you feel better. Yeah, you'll feel satisfied. I'm really treated as others. Yeah, which is really good. Yeah, and I hope all companies will have this transparency.
Absolutely, and I hope so too, because transparency is the key for just eliminating this gender salary parity. So those were some really valuable tips. And next question is from Karina, and she asks, I want to work as a data scientist. I studied electrical engineering and did a few data science projects, but it's really hard to find entry positions. All job postings require 3+ years experience, a PhD, and knowledge in a long list of languages and libraries. I never feel qualified enough. What advice can you give someone who wants to get into data science?
So I mean, I agree it's not easy. Yeah. But there are so many companies, they see potential in people, in junior people starting in tech career, in data science and in other domains. And those companies are offering scholarships. So apart from those scholarships, for example, big companies, all big companies offering also it's kind of studying, it's kind of scholarship as well. It's university belonging to this company. So and where you can also start working with teams in real projects and learn, and then you will be evaluated. You might continue working with this company, or you will get the experience you need to go to seek another job. Yeah. For example, I mean, Google is doing these programs, so many programs. Google is organizing very interesting, actually, where you can start, you gather experience, and then you can say, oh, I did this with Google, and then you can find a job. For Volkswagen, also, we have a university. It's called Faculty, it's in Wolfsburg, Faculty 42. And they are also doing full program for there are different programs. You can choose the program you want also. And then you work really, you gather experience, and you might continue working. We hired some students from the faculty, actually. So I think looking for such programs is helping you to find a starting point. Because going directly to be hired at some company, yeah, as you said, it's not easy because maybe they want a specific stack. Then you need to really cover a big stack, or then you don't have enough experience in this stack. So better to concentrate first. What do you want? Then see companies do with that need, or doing workshop directly. Learn that at the company that you want to work for. That's really easier, I would say.
All right, thank you for those amazing tips, Ruba. And our last question for the day is, it's a follow-up question to a previous question. And they ask, what coursework or certifications would you recommend for big data and web development?
So as I mentioned, actually, there are so many. But as I mentioned, because now every company is moving to the cloud, like since a while, actually, and there is a lot of migration happening right now from on-premise to the cloud. I would say all those certifications related to big data by cloud providers are so essential. There are others, not necessarily really linking to one cloud, but I feel those cloud providers bringing enough, like you will have so many opportunities, yeah, working with the big data. So for example, with AWS or with Google or with Azure, all of them are offering this certification for big data. And they are always like, so many companies have this need, yeah, to work with big data in the cloud, because like most of now, I mean, the big data needs really big capacity, so cloud solution is so convenient for big data processing. And this is why I think it's a nice point to do it with the cloud, yeah. And always those like I checked, I mean, I did part of them, like with AWS, I did the development one, I did the security one, and I did the big data one, I did the DevOps one. And I think it brings you the necessary experience. It's not enough, of course, to do it like theoretically to have the certificate, but there is a lot of hands-on. And I think everyone needs to pass this, to do this hands-on projects to pass this certificate, which will give you what you need actually to have.
All right, thank you so much for answering those questions, Ruba. And I
You're
guess
welcome.
this is where we can conclude our session. And I don't think so. I think that this was a great way to end our series. So our Career Cruise series ends here. And I think it was lovely having Ruba as our last guest for this series. So thank you so much, Ruba, for taking out your time and being here with our community.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Women Who Code, and thanks for everyone who came here and attended the session. Yeah. And good luck.
And I would also thank you. And I would also like to thank Ashmi for consistently being a great interviewer and always making the events so much fun. So thank you, Ashmi, for being a great interviewer for this series.
Thank you so much, Siddhi. And thank you so much to Women Who Code and to all our guests who agreed to show up and were such a good collaborators. So yeah, thank you everyone for this lovely opportunity.
And I would at the end, I would like to thank our attendees for taking out time from their schedules and attending our series. And of course, a big shout out to our moderator, Mansi, for always being, helping out during this series. So I guess, and thank you to everyone who has supported this series. It was a great success because of so many people who were involved. So I hope to see you guys in the next Career Cruise series. Hopefully we can bring it back again very soon for you all. So see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ruba.
Bye-bye.